All right, looking at section 3 here. It deals with a bunch of postulates and then diagrams, right? Diagrams are kind of like pictures. Um, so here we have postulates. Postulates are ideas or theorems or different things that we could say. There's some little subtle differences on why they're called postulates and not theorems, but we're not going to look at that. We're going to look at these and we're going to take them as fact right here. Postulate 2.1, it is called the two-point postulate. And it says through any 2 points, there exists exactly one line. Right? So think about in your head, you draw 2 points somewhere, anywhere, you can draw one line between them, right? You take some string, you pull it taut between the 2 points, that is your line, okay? The line point postulate, a line contains at least 2 points, right? That makes sense, right? If you draw a line, you have to be able to draw at least 2 points on there, right? Actually, you can draw a bunch more, but you can draw at least two. Line intersection postulate. If two lines intersect, then their intersection is exactly 1 point, right? You can think about that. You have two lines that cross, they cross at a dot, right? A point. They don't cross twice, they don't cross 3 times, they cross once. The 3-point postulate. Through any 3 non-collinear points, there's exactly one plane, right? So for planes, what's easiest for me is to think about the walls of my house or the walls of your classroom. Each wall would be like a plane. The spot where the wall and the ceiling met, that would be at a line. So any 3 non-collinear points, you can draw a plane. The plane point postulate. A plane contains at least 3 non-collinear points, right? And that should make sense, right? It actually is a lot more than that, but you should be able to pick out 3 points that are on that plane. The plane line postulate. If 2 points lie in a plane, then the line containing them lies on the plane. All right, so think about this. We already said that our walls are planes. If you go up to your wall and you take a Sharpie marker out and you draw a dot on it, and then you go somewhere else on the wall and you draw on the same wall and you draw another dot, and then you connect the dots to make a line, that line is on the wall, right? It's on the plane, right? That's what that's saying. Lastly, the plane intersection postulate. If 2 planes intersect, then their intersection is a line. So we think about our ceiling and we think about one of our walls. They cross and they make a line, right? That crease in the corner of our room, that's our line. All right. A line is a line perpendicular to a plane if and only if the line intersects the plane at one point and is perpendicular to every line in the plane that intersects at that point. So hopefully we can kind of see that one. You take your piece of paper and you hold your pencil straight up and down on it. Your pencil represents the line, and it would be perpendicular to the piece of paper, which would be the plane. All right, example 15. So we're supposed to sketch a diagram. Sketch a diagram showing ray Vx intersecting line UW at point V. So that ray Vx is perpendicular to line UW. So we have 2 items here. We have ray Vx, oops, if I can write nice, Vx, and then line UW, right? The line touches the ray at point V, and they're perpendicular. So we have this line, UW, and then we have some point in the middle, or in about the middle, right? It doesn't have to be perfectly the middle, and that would be point V, and then the ray comes off, and we have point X somewhere there. And then it says they're perpendicular, so I'll draw a right angle mark. Okay. I know my drawing isn't perfect. If you wanted to, you could get a ruler and make it look a whole lot nicer, nice straight lines. But that's all that I really need. All right, let us scroll down. The line point postulate. Well, let's go and reread that. Line point. A line contains at least 2 points. Well, let's find a line, and then let's list 2 points on it. So I'm going to say line Q. Line Q has points J, H, and we could even say K. So there we have 3 points, right? We only needed 2, but we listed 3. Line intersection postulate. Well, line intersection, that means that They intersect at a point. So we'll say line Q and line P cross, or you could say intersect, but cross is shorter to right, cross at, well, they cross at point H. There we go. The plane point postulate. Now, let me reread just to make sure. Plane point. A plane contains at least 3 non-collinear points. All right, so we could say plane M. All right, there's that M right there. And then we need to pick out 3 points. I'm going to say plane M has or contains or it or yeah, however we want to say. I'm just going to say has points. And we could list a ton of them, but I'm just going to say we'll say J, K, and L. Right? There are 3 points right there. J and K are collinear, right? Any 2 points are collinear, and then L. Lastly, the plane line postulate. Well, that one says that if 2 points line the plane, the line containing them is on the plane. So, plane M has points, we'll say J and K. Has points J and K, and line JK. Or we could say that that's line Q if you wanted to. That's line Q. But there we go. That's all. Okay. So there's our section 3 there. These postulates, a lot of them are kind of no-brainers. Hopefully they make sense. Hopefully they click. It would be good to have your notes out while you're trying to work on homework. And then your diagrams, just do your best. Okay, I get that diagrams aren't necessarily easy. Whenever it says to draw a plane, let me go back to where I was. So if this said to draw a plane, I would just draw something like this. Well, something like what that looks like. Okay, you're trying to illustrate a piece of paper sitting there. If it said that there was a line going through it, I would draw it something like that. Oftentimes, if it's below the plane, you kind of think about it being a dotted line. You're welcome to do that. But right there, I have plane, I don't know, we'll say M, with a line, I don't know, we'll say line L, and it crosses at point X, right? That's what I drew there. It's not perfect, and it's not meant to be perfect, but just do your best. All right, there we are. That's section 3.